What's up, Pro Am community? It's Lethal Mindset. Welcome to preseason of the UHA Underground Hoopers Association. This is a league designed by Coach Clay and his community, his group of people. They put together this league on the PS5 side to just have some people come out, and it's mainly about promoting each other's channels and trying to help everybody get sponsorships and things of that nature. So I'm very appreciative of the opportunity. As you can see, this is business for me. I'm dressed in a suit, headed out to play game one of the preseason. We'll be going against Box Office. Most league games that we play will be a best of 3 series. And I believe that's the best way to do it. That way you can get multiple games in. Best of 3, if you win, go up 2-0. That's good. If you split, you got a tiebreaker game. I honestly wish they would just do 2 games. It don't have to be a best of 3. If you just do 2 games against an opponent and play the next opponent, then whatever your record is after their 2 games, I think that would be better for the league. Because a lot of times, let's say we play 2 games, and then the other team, if we was to match up against again, they'll win the 3rd game. But it don't mean nothing because they already lost their first 2. I'd rather it be like that. That way, it's not like a thing where one team is getting more games than the other just because they continually split. And whatever your record is your record at the end of the day. I believe it's 21 teams. There's going to be 2 tiers. I believe the top 10 teams will be tier 1, that's what we're gunning for. And the rest of the teams will be tier 2, and they said there potentially will be some teams added during the season. So if you play Pro Am, you got a team you're interested, Underground Hoopers Association, you can look at Coach Clay on Facebook and get yourself registered and come out here and compete. That's what it's all about. So when it comes to the whole ranking system, I'm going to get into that in the next video. Because I want to talk about where I think our opponent, Box Office, should rank. And I don't think it should necessarily come down to just preseason in general, because there's a lot of factors that go into it. What I do want to talk about is one thing I think they can do to promote this league a little bit farther as far as just league chatter is separating another chat, not another Discord, but within the Discord, have it to where you can see the streams. Everybody can put their streams in there. I have a list to show what team, who's the streamer for what team, so it's easy to go ahead and follow that person. And then also have a little league ranking system. From what I'm hearing and what I've seen since I've been in this chat is Devin the God YT is the greatest 2K player to ever live, and I actually got the pleasure of watching his team play through the streams yesterday, and I see why. His team is definitely as good as advertised. He was a monster. And I think just having rankings, so if he's the best player in the league, rank him number 1. I'll be curious to see where I rank. It should be a number of factors that go into the ranking. They should have a little team designed to do that. And then you can kind of break teams down by who their best player is, what offensive system they run, what defensive system they run. I know for the most part everybody runs 2-3 on defense, but if you go against a team like us who play 5 out, you can't necessarily play 2-3 against that. It just doesn't work out in the long run. You have to be really good at rotating, and you have to have a really good lockdown defender. And there's so many different things they can bring up, but the point I'm getting at is I just want it to be a lot of league chatter, something to talk about. You put a ranking system up, it's just something to talk about, something that everybody within that league and that community can just kind of talk about, agree, disagree, whatever, but putting it out there, that's what makes it a little bit more competitive. Because let's say you rank Devin the guy at number 2. He's going to want to wonder why he's number 2 when he's a league champion and, nobody can stop him. He's just out there dominating. So that's just something I think that would really help out the league. Jumping into this game, my expectations going into this preseason, like I said, we're going for Tier 1. Tier 1, the prize is $650. Tier 2 prize is $350. And it's, they said the pot goes up. There are different sponsors and different things that equate to the prize pool. It's a pool, not necessarily just, one sum of money going to one team. I think they actually could even expand upon that a little bit more. Like maybe have something for the league MVP. Eventually, if they can get enough teams, and this might be something I may be able to do, later down the line, because I always did want to set up my own league, because I wanted to set my association up a certain way. But if they only had 30 teams that can be within the league, and then outside of those 30 teams, you can always have, if you have a good number of teams that still want to play, you can have other tournaments and stuff until you get enough to run more than one league. And then from there, you can separate the tiers, But if you only had 30 people, you can have your all-star teams. It would be, in my opinion, it should be a total of 20 people. 10 people in the East, 10 people in the West, or however you divide up the conference. But that was something that was very successful in another league I was in, just having all-stars and just having different things to keep players interested. I mean, the way they setting this up right now is beautiful. I think everybody's enjoying it. Even the teams that kind of gotten blown out, they're not as worried because of the tier system. This is the first time I even heard of a team, a league trying to do a tier system. But my expectations for game 1, like I said, was to come out here. I knew for my team, I like to be totally honest, I know for my team, it's always going to be hard for anybody to go against 5 out against a player like me who rim runs as frequently as I do. And the reason why it causes so much trouble is not only can I continuously get to the rim and score that way, but I'm so good at passing the ball that you can't just, help from anywhere and think I won't find that mistake. Playing 5 out, it allows me to see what defense you're in, and because I can see what defense you're in, there is nothing 2K related that I haven't seen before. Whether that's playing my career or playing 2K online, there's no brand of defense, there's no type of defender I haven't seen before. So it's as good of a defender as you might be at 99 steal, 99 perimeter, or all that. I have something that can beat everything you throw at me. Right? You almost would have to build a defender to guard me, but then I can just beat you passing the ball, which is what I love. And you can't win a game totally on defense. Somebody has to be able to put the ball in the bucket. So that's one thing I know that would give up anybody who go up against trouble. And I felt like I actually improved my game, which you'll see in the next game that we play against this team. Like I said, it's a best of 3 series, but I felt like I improved my game because before, I don't want to say I was limited because I don't mind not shooting the ball, but I think I just improved myself by adding a little bit of a jump shot. Pretty efficient for mid-range, but now adding just a little bit of a 3-ball, just enough to where you just can't blatantly leave me open. I think that makes a big difference. Big shout out to my team this first game. Hit up Montage. So if you want to watch the stream of the games, Montage_gaming on Facebook. That's where you can watch all our live streams. I will try to leave a link in the description if I can. And I hit him up earlier today and I told him I just need him to lock in for this preseason game. And to be honest with y'all, we was debating as a team whether we want to be tier 1, tier 2, because like for me, we've been in the league before. It didn't go the way I hoped. We started off hot, and then once we lost a game or two, you know, it's like nobody wanted to play after that. And so going into a league this time, I did not want to have that same experience. Because part of being in a league should be the highs and lows. You can't become a good team without playing against other good teams. So we play against Devin the God, and his team smacked us by like 30. I don't want that to be a thing where we sit there and lose, and then we want to create all these new bills and got to try to grind them out. That's another $50 to $100 we got to put into this game just to go play them and get smacked again. Because the thing that happens, that I tell everybody, it doesn't really matter what build you make. It never does. Your play style is your play style. And what you have to do as a team is just maximize the way everybody plays. And that's very hard to do, right? If you can't really dribble and create your own shot, you don't necessarily have to make a build that can do that, because it's going to show up when you play against a good defender and you make the wrong move and he can just pluck you every single time. Like, it shows up. Your play style is your play style. Nothing's going to change from that. One thing I'm still working on, I'm trying to get the comms down, because for some reason my team's audio still isn't showing up. I don't know whether it's something on my end, because like when we're playing I can hear them and I know everybody click to allow their voice to be shared, but for some reason I still haven't figured that out, so I am working on it. As far as builds go, if you're in the league or thinking about joining a team or anything like that and you don't know what build to be, one thing teams are always going to need is somebody who can shoot and somebody who can play defense. All right. If you can't shoot and you can't play defense, it's going to be tough. You have to have some type of skill that you're already naturally good at, whether it's rebounding, defense, shooting, playmaking, or finishing at the basket. So if you can't shoot and you can't play defense, but you're really good at finishing, it might make sense to make kind of a shooting guard that's going to rim run, where the point guard can just use you for backdoor cuts. And if you're great at timing like a dunk, you can go backdoor and dunk it every single time. It's still a skill. You know, and then on the defensive end, they can always hide you in the corner, or if they play 2-3, it's not hard to play 2-3. I mean, even the worst defender, I'm trying to tell you, as long as you know where to sit at on the floor, your teammates will tell you what to do to be better. So as long as you come in to any team with a skill, like I said, your play style is your play style. It's just about maximizing your skill to its full potential. So no matter who you play against, you'll always be able to contribute in that way. But shooting and defense definitely is the thing that's going to get you pretty much on any team. It's the one thing that most point guards notice. If they think you're a pretty good defender and you can knock down a pretty good portion of your shots when you're open, you can find yourself on any team. Coming into the third quarter, I kind of like what we was going up against in this game, because to be honest with you, by the end of the first quarter, I pretty much know how the game should go. You know, I know whether we should be able to blow you out. I know whether it's going to be a close game. I know if you can beat us. Right, by the end of the first quarter, that's all I need when it comes to 2K to determine what the outcome will look like. And I'm very rarely wrong about the outcome by the end of the first quarter. And by the end of this first quarter, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like we should have been able to blow these guys out, at least by like 15 or more. And like I said, well, I feel like they should rank, I'm gonna get into the next video, but that's what I was looking at. You know, I kind of saw the way that they play. They had some bigs. I felt like they could have used their size a little bit more, but at the same time, you kind of see why a lot of teams who have a post scorer don't really use them in 5v5 gameplay. And I'm going to get in there real quick, you know, right before we get into the fourth quarter. So, if you ever been to the 1v1 court, you'll notice post scorers dominate the 1v1. They post up, hook you to death, drop step you to death. There's nothing you can really do about it. You just gotta hope you can rip them or hope they miss and you actually get the rebound. That's all you can really do. And I always ask the question, like, if you can be that dominant scoring, why would you not do that in a 5v5 setting? If you can just hook it every single time to score, you know, that's pretty much guaranteed points every time down the floor. And here's the reason. The reason why you can't really do that in 5v5 gameplay is because you don't get the ball back after you score each possession. Now, if there's a thing where you can just sit here and post hook and get the ball back and post hook and get the ball back and post hook, then yeah, you'll be a really dominant player. Now, I promise you you'll see a lot more post scores. But when there's a change of possession and the other team has the ability to knock down a three ball, then you can't sit there and rely on trying to post hook every single time. No matter how effective you think it is, you got 5 defenders who can reach at you, who can contest your shot, and can go back down on the other end and get a three-pointer. So that's why you don't see as many post scores, or you know, why teams don't try to use it more. But I think if you can find a really good post scorer, I like to think of teams that kind of set it up that way. If you think of the Lakers with Shaq, or you think of Houston with Hakeem Olajuwon, if you can get a dominant post player, all you got to do is surround him with shooters. And it'd be very tough to stop, because if you can just dominate one-on-one, because that's what it comes down to. You know, a lot of times, no matter what you run across, you look at it. A player is going to dominate one-on-one. If he's using the pick and roll, then when he forces that switch, he's just dominating the big. If he plays like me, where it's just 5-out ISO, then I'm just abusing the guy guarding me in a 1v1 situation. As long as I can win that matchup, my shooters are going to be open. Same thing with a post scorer. If a post scorer can come down post hook every single time, shooters are going to be open. At that point, you just got to be good enough to make the right pass. And you can play with a dominant post scorer. So that's one thing I think box office should utilize more, because they have a guy who could have just hooked us to death. Come down, let him get established, let him get a couple of those shots to fall, and then watch how the defense tries to adjust to defend it. And I think that would have made them a lot more dangerous, because, I mean, they have a very good shoot. Like, their lockdown defender is a phenomenal shooter. The shooting guard can score really, really well. And I'm pretty sure Young, the point guard, can also put the ball in the bucket a lot. But it comes down to a system. You know, they got multiple ball handlers, which is good, but you gotta utilize the thing that's like the most dominant. I think that post score could have been really, really dominant. And that's another reason why I want people to kind of set up like who's their best player and things like that, or have like a committee that can look into it, because that type of intel is very important going into a game. The more information you got about a team, the better you can then strategize for them. And that just makes everybody more competitive. Now that we're sitting here in the fourth quarter, I mean, like I said, I felt like we should have blew these guys out, but we couldn't. It's just the truth. They were a lot better team as we continue to play than I thought they were. Defensively, to be honest with you, they were tough. I don't know how much like another team would struggle against them, and I'm pretty sure them coming in at 2-0, those 2 games that they played, they was pretty dominant. But like they were very tough defensively. I think the lockdown was really good, and I felt like he possibly should have guarded me a few more possessions. And their rotations was crazy. I mean, everything I would think to do to beat their rotation, because honestly they wanted to play 2-3, but like I said, with 5 out, you can't really play 2-3. They just did a great job of knowing what was coming, quickly adjusted defensively every single time I tried to make a play, every time. The only thing they had trouble with was trying to stay in front of me, but I mean, you're going to have trouble trying to stay in front of most teams' point guards. It's just the nature of the game. You know, you got to hope that the point guard that you're going against is just like a really, really passive guy. But if the point guard is out there trying to score, it's going to be tough to beat any team. I don't care what they have or what you're going against. If the point guard can be aggressive scoring, and he's a passive player, which means he likes to get his teammates involved, there ain't really much you can do about it. But this is what I'm saying. Watch how I'm going to beam it to the corner. Look at the defensive rotations. It was pretty much a perfect rotation. The guy was ready to drop to the corner. If the big hadn't jumped, he would have rotated down to the paint. But like, they did a great job of not really giving up a lot of threes. You know, our threes came in transition, just on some scramble plays, things like that. But in the half court, it's very hard to get a 3 off, which that's good defense. That's what I consider good defense. They are not giving up nothing. They adjusted because they noticed I haven't really taking many jump shots, and I took the last one just so they felt like I'm at least willing to shoot it. As you see, I'm constantly open. I tell everybody, as long as I can show the ability to knock down the shot, we'll be all right. Because they got to respect it. See, right here again, I'm not making none of these threes, but showing the ability just keeps the defense honest. And if I'm ever able to knock one down, like I said, I got enough of three-pointer just to be able to knock one of those down, then we'll be fine the rest of the game. So game 1, we're actually going to take game 1. You know, it's a minute, just about a minute left. Game 1, great experience. We didn't know what to expect coming into it. We actually are 11th on the bracket right now, but winning game 1 kind of just gives my team confidence, and I like the way we played defensively this game. I think we was very active. My team did a great job on the board. Savage and Montage, they did a great job on the boards, just grabbing just about every rebound. And my team, for the most part, they stayed aggressive offensively. I want Savage to be a little bit more aggressive taking his shot, or just recognizing when he's open. And I want my team to understand, like, we're going to take some bad shots here and there. There's no way around it. I felt like I actually was shooting too much this game. I feel like I missed a lot of layups that I probably normally would make, but, as I watch the games back, I try to get better. Hopefully, my teammates are watching these games back, see where they can be better at. I'm starting to notice when I'm getting an open space, so great team win for game 1. Looking forward to game 2. Again, in this next video, I'm going to break down the tiers and where I feel like box office should rank. And I'll tell you guys how the preseason tournament is going. But anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Look forward for us on Montage Gaming. I'm out.